It's looking like JD Vance is going to be the U.S.'s biggest political casualty as a result of the Iran war.
The actual war room that's happening is Marco Rubio, Susan Wiles, the chief of staff, Trump, obviously. And then there's like a kiddie table. If you go to this kiddie table, this is JD Vance drinking his little Diet Mountain Dew.
Look at that. Let me zoom in on that.
Look at his little Diet Mountain Dew.
This dude has been a broken record on Iran for years.
Honest guidance to those young men, and I think their concerns are very legitimate. But if you're worried about the world spinning out of control, if you're worried about a military draft, if you're worried about, God forbid, a world war, the best way to prevent it is to vote for Donald Trump. And I really believe that.
Open mouth, insert foot, James David, because there you are, standing right next to the President of Peace, saluting as flag-draped caskets return to the U.S.
On a personal level, I was honored to be able to participate in the dignified transfer of 6 American soldiers who were killed overseas in this conflict with Iran.
Vance's pledge of no more stupid wars got trumped by Lindsay.
You just wait to see what comes in the next 2 weeks.
The next 2 weeks meaning what?
We're going to blow the hell out of these people.
There's no way Jimmy Vance should actually be surprised that Lindsay's bomb the hell out of him is beating his let's protect our sons and daughters. Like, he should know how Trump operates at this point. So are Vance's presidential hopes evaporating right before our eyes? Let's talk about it. But first, make sure you subscribe to Raw America, because this community is growing faster than JD Vance's blood sugar, which is why he's still just a dumb kid from Ohio doing the do, but nowadays it's Diet Dew. That photo of Vance with the Diet Mountain Dew made me laugh so hard. I think it's because it's so appropriately pathetic for a guy who always looks sad to be relegated to the kiddie room with his diet soda. And I think it's maybe also because he and I are about the same age, and it's just funny to watch that Midwest living catching up with him. And I am not alone in finding this hilarious. The guys from the Foreign Report agreed, and it was a perfect fit for their weekly segment, JD Vance Corner, where they just roast Vance because he sucks.
Welcome back to the Foreign Report. I'm Cena Gassavy, Travis Irvine. We know what time it is.
Here we go. Whoa!
Give him a chance. It's JD Vance. No, wait, he sucks.
Club remix,
So
ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and play this Facebook video that popped into my algorithm of JD Vance before the attacks. Keep in mind, everyone, JD Vance, he's the explainer for the America First, Middle America supporters of Trump. He's the one that says, don't worry, there won't be any long wars. It's not going to be a long war. Like he said, remember the first time when we bombed Iran? He was like, this is a quick. Our president, the difference is the presidents aren't dumb now. They're smart presidents. So he gets asked about, this is before any bombs were dropped, and he gets asked about the drumbeat of war.
And secondly, on Iran, while you're here, can you explain to the American people why the United States would need to strike Iran to stop them from getting a nuclear weapon if the United States obliterated their enrichment program last summer?
Which is a
Well,
valid
I'm not going to make
question.
any news on Iran today, Caitlin. I'll let the president make those announcements. As you know, he is sending 2 of his best negotiators to Geneva tomorrow in order to continue to try to strike the best deal possible for the American people.
Funny.
But the principle is very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. If they try to rebuild a nuclear weapon, that causes problems for us. And in fact, we've seen evidence that they have tried to do exactly that. So the president sending those negotiators to try to address that problem, as the president has said repeatedly, he wants to address that problem diplomatically. But of course, the president has other options as well.
All right. Boom. So Vance, prior to any bombs dropping, is clearly saying, hey, let's let diplomacy play out.
Yeah.
Hey, we can figure this out, but they can't have a weapon, and they won't because we're working on it. Boom. Like less than 24 hours later, bombs everywhere.
And because Vance was clearly out of the loop from the jump, he was banished to the kiddie table with his fellow anti-war rejects.
You also have Tulsi Gabbard, who has Obviously, no say in a giant war they're about to do. Also,
other big, huge anti-war MAGA
Chris
person.
Wright, the energy secretary. Sorry, you don't get to say anything about this either. And Scott Bessent, the treasury secretary, who I don't know if we've ever actually showed, but if you watch any of his testimony at the Congress ever, everyone's just like, are you even in charge? Like, what are you doing? He's in charge of the treasury, supposedly. So this is the kiddie table. The table that was left in the loop by a secure line, and that was it. Basically saying, you're not calling any shots here. And it's just so funny to see JD with his Diet Mountain Dew looking so unpresidential.
The guys from the Foreign Report are not the only ones noticing that Vance and his Diet Dew are being pushed aside when it comes to Iran. And maybe his past emphatic President of Peace statements are coming back to haunt him.
We're reminding people that Donald Trump delivered peace and prosperity, and Kamala Harris has delivered war all over the world and unaffordable groceries and housing here at home. We're going to stop sending our young people to faraway lands. We are not the policemen of the world. One of the most important selling points for President Trump's agenda is when you project American strength and when you engage in smart diplomacy, you can keep the world from blowing up. If you're worried about the world spinning out of control, if you're worried about a military draft, if you're worried about, God forbid, a world war, the best way to prevent it is to vote for Donald Trump. Our interest, I think, very much is in not going to war with Iran, right? It would be a huge distraction of resources. It would be massively expensive to our country.
Also banished to the kiddie table and forced to sit right next to Vance and his Diet Dew is Tulsi Gabbard, another anti-war black sheep of the Trump administration.
President Trump promised us during his campaign to get the United States out of stupid wars.
Obviously, the war in Iraq was a big, fat mistake. We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East. We will stop racing to topple foreign regimes that we know nothing about.
But he's on the brink of launching a very stupid and costly war with Iran. We have to stop President Trump from starting a war with Iran. The president is listening to his national security advisor, John Bolton, and other war hawks in his administration who have championed the war with Iraq in the past and who've been pushing for war with Iran for years.
Well, thank God that stupid John Bolton is gone and Trump can actually listen to the solid advice of Deputy Dog.
We're going to blow the hell out of these people.
All right, Lindsay, you southern psychopath. Y'all, Lindsay Graham is over the moon that he finally convinced Trump to say yes to the war, which I think is actually like a less dark show on TLC. Graham recently bragged about his accomplishment in a lengthy sit-down interview with Politico that made it very clear that Trump is listening to Graham, and not only when it comes to Iran. Graham told Politico that he had been encouraging Trump to, quote, blow some shit up to combat drug trafficking. And 2 days later, Trump encouraged military action to fight cartels in a new war on drugs. And Graham is appealing to Trump's vanity here, appealing to his desperation to be important, telling him that if he could collapse the Iranian regime, that would be some Berlin Wall stuff, which led to Graham lobbying Trump for several weeks one-on-one, with their final meeting taking place on Thursday, less than 48 hours before the U.S. started dropping bombs on Iran. Lindsey Graham's victory lap on Iran is a clear indication that in his second term, Trump is listening closely to war hawks like him and Rubio, because he is more desperate than ever to do something that he thinks makes him look important. And that's probably why anti-interventionalists like Vance are being left out in the cold, and also probably why Vance canceled a previously scheduled town hall that was supposed to take place on CBS this week, because he doesn't really know anything about Iran, and he does not want to have to answer people's questions. And add to all of that, that in Trump's inner circle, more people seem to be souring on Vance.
Well, you can sort of see why he did the Homer Simpson and the Bushes routine of just sort of fading back after the bomb started dropping, because these are difficult things to explain. What they do explain, what Vance's team, what the White House says, is Vance was on board with this because Iran posed a unique threat that had to be dealt with instantly. Whether people are going to buy that or not is going to be up to the vice president. But overall, he not only has the problem of sort of inheriting whatever policy and whatever presidency is left to him by Donald Trump. He's also sort of a man without portfolio. And we wrote about this at Axios a little while ago, which is Donald Trump likes to poll people about, hey, what do you think about 2028? Who do you think the candidate should be? And he asks Marco Rubio or JD Vance. He doesn't want them to run against each other. He wants them to run with each other. But he's getting a lot of more positive feedback, Trump is, about Rubio at the top of the ticket than Vance. A lot of that is just sort of recency bias and the fact that Marco Rubio has a portfolio. Secretary of State, it puts him in the front and center of global affairs, and National Security Advisor, it puts him directly in the White House. The vice president doesn't quite have that. So as Peter had said and Aisha had said, he's sort of going all around and doing all of these interviews, and then he has to live up to what he had said in the past, and it's just a very difficult balancing act.
It's not looking good for Jimmy Vance. He is definitely going to be the sad, puffy face of this disastrous war come 2028. So hopefully he is upgraded to some waterproof eyeliner. He's going to need it. We are going to keep covering Vance and all of the other nonsense coming out of this peaceful president's administration. So make sure you subscribe to Raw America. And before you go, leave a comment and share this video with someone in your life, because your engagement helps get our work in front of way more people and helps build this community. For Raw America, I am Corinne Straight. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.